So, you want to build a successful data warehousing project? Well, let me tell you, it's not just about the shiny new tech. The real secret sauce? It's the people. It's all about building that dream team. Let's dive right in.
Okay, be honest. Have you ever asked this question? Why does it take weeks to get simple data reports? You know the data is in there somewhere, but getting a straight answer feels like pulling teeth. This is that classic, frustrating sign that your current data setup just isn't cutting it. And you know what? It's the exact problem a good data warehouse with the right team is built to solve.
All right, so here's the game plan for today. We're going to look at the high cost of sticking with what you've got, how to put a price on that pain. Then we'll get into the leadership and the build team you absolutely need. And finally, how to calculate the real payoff. So first things first, let's talk about the high cost of good enough. Because before you can build something better, you've got to be really, brutally honest about what's broken right now. So yeah, the very first step in building your business case is to really analyze what's called the current approach. This is just a fancy way of saying the way the world is now. And look, this isn't just some tech audit. No. It's a deep dive into everything. The real costs, the people involved, their frustrations, and all those clunky processes that are just slowing everyone down. Okay, so once you've laid out all those problems, it's time to put a price on that pain. Because let's face it, all those frustrations and slow processes, they aren't just annoying side notes. They have a real, measurable dollar and cents impact on the bottom line. And this right here, this just lays it all out. When we talk about costs, we're not just talking about software licenses. Oh no, we're talking about the hours and hours your analysts waste just trying to find and clean up data. We're talking about the cost of redoing work because the data was garbage to begin with. And the big one, the actual business you're losing because you can't respond fast enough. These are the hidden costs that can absolutely bleed a company dry. So this really paints the picture, doesn't it? On one side, you've got the as-is state, the world of pain we've been talking about. But on the other side, that's the to-be state. That's the future you're trying to build. This is where you can actually get products to market faster and where you finally achieve that holy grail of data. A single version of the truth that everyone can trust. Okay, we've defined the problem pretty clearly. So how do we fix it? Well, the solution starts at the very top. We're talking about the leadership you need, the strategic roles that can literally make or break your data project before it even gets off the ground. All right, let's kick this off with, honestly, the single most critical role on this whole list, the project sponsor. I'm not kidding. If you want to predict if a project will fail, just look for a missing or disengaged sponsor. This person, usually a senior manager, is the official owner of the business case. They're the one who's going to harvest the benefits. And here's the really crucial part. Their rank in the company directly defines the project's scope. You get the CFO as a sponsor, you can go enterprise-wide. You get a department head, well, you're staying in that department. But hey, even the best sponsor can't do it all by themselves. They need backup. They need champions. Think of these folks as the project's internal sales team. They're other executives who go out and build that political support, make sure everyone sees how this project fits into the big picture, and get all the different departments on board. And then, of course, you have the project manager. If the sponsor is the what and the why, the PM is the how and the when. They're the orchestrator, the hands-on leader who takes that big vision and breaks it down into an actual plan. They're the ones managing the schedule, spotting risks, and keeping all the plates spinning every single day. All right, leadership is locked in. Now let's get into the trenches and talk about the team that actually builds this thing. The experts who turn all that strategy into a real working data warehouse. First up, we need to understand a really important relationship. You've got your business subject matter experts. We call them SMEs. These are the people who really understand the business. They live and breathe this stuff every day. Then you have the business analysts. Think of them as translators. Their job is to talk to the SMEs, understand all that deep business knowledge, and then translate it into clear documented requirements the tech team can actually use. One has the gold, the other is the miner. Next up, you need to lay the architectural foundation. This takes a team of 3. You've got the enterprise architect, who's like the city planner, making sure your project fits with the entire company's technical roadmap. Then there's the data modeler. They're the architect drawing up the actual blueprints for the database. And finally, you have the database administrator, or DBA. They're the building manager, the custodian who keeps the lights on, making sure the database is secure, fast, and healthy 24/7. Okay, now we get to a role that is so often overlooked, but is unbelievably critical, the data integration developer. You'll hear them called ETL developers, that's for extract, transform, and load. These are the magicians who build the complex data pipelines that pull data out of all those messy, different source systems, clean it up, standardize it, that's the transform part, and then load it safely into your shiny new warehouse. And just so you understand how huge this is, get this. That ETL process, just getting the data from point A to a clean, usable point B, can chew up as much as 70% of the entire project's effort. Seriously, let that sink in. The vast majority of the heavy lifting for the whole project happens right here. So, you've done it. You've assembled this dream team. So, now what? Well, now it's time to talk about the payoff. How do we connect all this hard work from this incredible team back to real, tangible business value? Because at the end of the day, this is what the executives, your sponsor, your champions, care about. They want to see the tangible benefits. The work your team does is what delivers that single version of the truth. And that is what leads to better risk management, getting to market faster, boosting sales, and directly cutting down on all those costs from mistakes and rework we talked about earlier. And you don't just talk about this value, you prove it. You prove it with cold, hard numbers. You're going to be using standard financial metrics like return on investment or ROI and payback time. You might even use more advanced stuff like net present value. This is it. This is how you translate all that amazing technical work into the language your business leaders speak: money. And that brings us right back to where we started, doesn't it? After all the technical talk, all the financial models, it all comes back to one thing. The single most important factor. I'm going to say it one more time because it's that crucial. Having a strong, engaged project sponsor isn't just a nice to have. It is absolutely, fundamentally critical to success. So as we finish up here, I want to leave you with this one thought. Right now, your company's data is telling a story. It's telling you about your customers, your operations, your biggest risks, and your greatest opportunities. The only question is, have you built the right team to actually sit down and listen? Thanks for joining me.